Hey guys, Bguyle here, playing Stories Path of Destinies today.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Reynardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cards, and wine. But the Emperor had changed. He'd been good once, a shy, almost humble toad. He'd built universities. Then people started whispering about mass graves in the woods, midnight rituals, victims screaming. The Imperial Ravens would round up entire villages, and no one ever returned. The Ravens had come to Ubar scouting for ancient books said to be of great power. But the librarians had hidden the books, so they'd burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The Ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. And Reynardo had promised his mother he'd protect him. The kid was looking down, watching his city burn. "Sorry, kid," Reynardo told the kid. "Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone." "My mother died for this book!" "I promised her I'd protect you." "Oh, damn it." The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Reynardo had to run after him.
I really enjoy how the story isn't just thrown at you, it's presented with a narrator who actually takes the time to do all the different voices of the characters you come across, whether it be the main story characters or even just the little grunts and enemies you might fight during battle.
The two ravens were staring at the kid like he was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. "Hey," Reynardo said. They cocked their heads at him. "Pick on someone as ugly as you." Wait, that didn't come out right. "For the Emperor!" The ravens cawed and rushed at him.
The battle system starts off pretty basic, just, a normal square to attack, a little combo meter that fills up and drops down when you get hit. But as the first level goes, or first stage at least, they do a good job of teaching you nice ways to counter enemies that are rushing towards you. So you almost have a little bit of a Shadows of Mordor or Batman, Arkham Knight kind of thing going around where you're kind of flitting around from enemy to enemy and countering, blocking certain other enemies too as they come in at you.
A dropship flew overhead. He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid. Oh, right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke, making the skyship docks a gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate. "Who let you through? Promise me you'll take the book to the rebels, or I'm gonna steal your ship." I'm not taking that damn book anywhere, and neither are you. Try and stop me, laughed the kid. I bet you don't even have a hero sword. And with that, the kid hopped away. Had to hand it to the kid.
So other than being your weapon of choice for hacking and slashing up enemies, your swords actually work as keys for certain gates in this game too, whether it be a hero, fire, ice, or void. You actually have to craft the different swords in the first place to get the new ones, and then from there you can craft and enhance them further with upgrades as long as you have enough ore.
Hero sword.
The game is able to balance a good mix of humor along with some kind of dark undertones. There's a lot of talk about burning and sacrifices and rituals, but there's also plenty of jokes and humor about what the characters are saying too.
This is what he got for settling down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook, and she'd laughed at Renado's jokes, even when he didn't know he'd made one. And then the ravens had come to burn her, and she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was, just the kid. He came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. There'd been a bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. How'd you get across? He asked the kid. Where'd you find a hook? I hopped, said the kid. Wise-ass kid. Hey, look out behind you! Cute, said Renato. Ah, ravens.
So, as you survive more and more battles and get higher and higher combo multipliers, you'll end up getting experience, which helps you with a little bit of a skill unlocking system. The two first skills are pretty much just kind of acquiring your old abilities, a hook shot and a dash ability. But as you go from there, there starts being all kinds of modifiers and options, which make for some really fun combat experiences, and also for some kind of nice, I don't know, combat power roll fulfillment. You start off as a pretty simple guy just tapping X, or sorry, square, but by a certain point you're pushing X to dash around through enemies, countering this enemy, zipping over here, slowing down with the defensive block. But yeah, again, starts off nice and slow, nothing too crazy for you at first. Even with the hook shots, it's a little bit of simple hook shot platforming just to kind of get you used to the idea of, hey, sometimes you're going to see a dead end, but maybe there's a gap, and maybe it's going to lead to another hook shot.
You could do the Kester run in 12 furlongs. Oh, so the salesman had told him. And something told him.
Star Wars reference, always helpful. Basically, the game's not afraid to kind of, you know, not take itself seriously all the time and throw in little inside jokes and running gags from other series, which is kind of nice.
And a goggler nailed him with its ivy.
But then there's other times where the game is a little serious, and you have rabbit children getting zapped by miniature beholder-looking creatures.
The book was unburned. Next to it were the buckles from the kid's shoes, and a kid-sized pile of ashes. Damn it. Why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. Probably have to join the rebellion just to have a place to dock. Well, he'd hated home life anyway. What was the big deal about this book anyway? Maybe he should open it and find out. All that had been years ago. How many? The war was a blur, and now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. "Where are you running, rebel?" cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults. "Just going out for milk?" Renato yelled back. "Where can you run?" laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job. "Take us to the rebel base, and we'll spare your life!" it cawed. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven, a sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time, unless Renato could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper, the legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon could win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lapino or the Sky Ripper.
So multiple times in this game you're going to come across branching paths. It starts out with 2, but eventually you're going to unlock other paths and even some backtracking, which will kind of be part of the story. It's explained a little bit more later, so I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, there's definitely going to be times where you're going to be like, okay, well, this happened this way, so let's see what happens when I go this way. But luckily the game keeps track of all the different paths, and it's actually almost required, I believe, to do most of the paths and learn new things, which actually affect the overall story. So it's a really neat system of upgrading your sword, upgrading yourself, finding out more story, finding out what went wrong. It really reminds me of the Astro Boy game for the GBA, Omega something. I can't think of what it's called right now. But eventually you get to a point where you have to actually go back to previous levels, and you'll meet characters you might have missed, or find out things you might have missed that kind of change the story a little bit more, and will kind of take you to a true ending. So you have a little bit of that going on.
By arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse, he'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens?
Yeah, it's really important, at least from what I've experienced so far, to pay attention to the narration, because even though you're coming back to the same level sometimes, things that you might have learned previously will affect the way the narration occurs.
Renato wondered if it wasn't cheaper to build bridges and stairs.
You'll notice a lot of branching paths as well. Sometimes they'll be one way, sometimes you'll be able to backtrack and check out everything. It's a little bit tricky for the, I guess, RPG purists who likes to just go one way, find all the items, and then actually go the right way to get out, because sometimes you do reach a point where you can't backtrack, at least until you come back to the level. But it's always cool to kind of pay attention to all the different ways, especially when you have an elevator that takes you kind of above the scenery. You can kind of see all the different branching paths, which is really cool. I dig that a lot.
Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
Zing.